Hello, this is Zahirul. Welcome you all on Frankly Speaking. Our guest today is Mr. Tian Beng, is South Asia General Manager of Dell with responsibility for the South Asia group of countries, which includes the ASEAN group of countries and developing ones such as Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. He has responsibility for all commercial accounts from small, medium business to large enterprise and definitely public, including government. He has been with Dell for more than 11 years and has held sales management roles with the Dell Asia Pacific Global Segment team. And prior to Dell, Tian Beng was with Sony Electronics Devices, where he was responsible for the sales of Sony computer peripherals. Tian Beng is a native in Singapore and has a degree in marketing from Santa Clara University from United States of America and MBA in marketing from University of Western Australia. Welcome on our show, Mr. Tian Beng.
Thank you, Zahir.
Is this your first visit in Dhaka?
It is my first visit to Dhaka.
Okay, so why it has taken so long for coming to Dhaka?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity, but so far it's been a very impressive trip, and it's my first visit, but it definitely won't be my last, and I look forward to coming here again.
Okay, actually, we know about, and we are very familiar about the Dell, your company which you are working for. But would you please shed light on the activity, the manufacturing landscape of Dell company? I know it's a huge company and functioning around the world. So please tell us a little bit about the Dell company.
Sure. So, we are as you know, we are one of the top, computer vendors, in the world. Last financial year, actually, we had revenues about 52 billion.
52 billion.
52 billion
yes.
In terms of US dollars, for revenue. We're actually out of the Fortune 50 companies, we are ranked number 33 among the Fortune 50. And, we have a lot of customers from consumers to large corporates. Actually, out of the top 100 Fortune companies, all the top 100 Fortune companies actually do business with Dell.
Okay, but what are the challenges right now globally, especially on manufacturing PCs? You're not only manufacturing PCs, but some other products you do have.
We do. We do actually have a broad spectrum of products.
Yes.
From PCs to notebooks, to servers, to storage. We do services. We do also peripheral devices. So we do actually the whole spectrum of products actually.
What purposes you did have in your mind when you were coming in Bangladesh?
Well, we obviously see a big potential, here in Bangladesh. I think recently, it's very interesting. I think that my visit is good in terms of timing, where, recently the Prime Minister, announced the Digital Bangladesh, 2021. I think there's a lot of potential here. While the PC penetration here in Bangladesh, is not as high as some countries, but, with that, we see obviously a lot of potential. And, we look forward, to increasing our presence over here.
Do you have any suggestion how to penetrate PCs around this country?
Well, speaking from the Dell standpoint, frankly, we've been here in doing business in Bangladesh for many years now. Actually, over 15 years.
Yes.
But, I would like to, announce that we actually do have plans to set up our representative, liaison office here in Bangladesh. So I think that's the first step, of setting up a representative office here in Bangladesh.
Okay.
And actually, having some local staff based here in Bangladesh.
So, would it be restricted only setting up the liaison office only, or do you have any future plan to set up any plant in this country?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think quite a few queries regarding this during my visit here. So I will never say never, but frankly, there are currently no plans for the assembly plant. I think we really have to take it one step at a time. And the first one really is to set up a representative office, have a local team based here, and that's actually our current plan.
So how do you see the prospect of expanding business here in Bangladesh? As the government, you have already mentioned that envisioning to building up a country as a digital Bangladesh.
Well, I think we look forward definitely to contribute to the digital Bangladesh plan. Right. In fact, during my visit here, I met up with some of the government bodies and spoken to some of the government officials, and I think we look forward to participating in it. I think Dell, if you look at our history of Dell, the last 25 years, I think we have been one of the key contributor in the IT industry to actually make technology more affordable, to the masses, right? And we believe we definitely have a role here. And I think from what I've heard, the Digital Bangladesh plan is a very impressive plan. From rolling out the connectivity, to reach more of the masses and to the education sector. So I think we look forward to contributing to that.
What messages you did have from the policymakers? I mean, whom did you met with already in Bangladesh?
Yeah, I think similar. I think to what the Prime Minister announced, and I think as part of the Digital Bangladesh, the key aims is to really increase the coverage to the unions, across here in Bangladesh. I know. There are also plans to equip your post offices, with the IT hubs. So all that is very interesting, and I think Dell looks forward to participating in these plans.
Do you see enough infrastructure? The IT infrastructure in Bangladesh to expand the ICT facilities to the doorstep of the common people?
Yeah, well, I think frankly, right now in Bangladesh, it's obviously less well developed than some other countries, but I think with that comes tremendous opportunities, right? And I think the government, obviously has very ambitious plans, and I think, we in the IT community are, very excited by it.
Okay, but you have already said that you don't have right now any plan to setting up any plant, but generally, do you see any prospect for inviting or attracting large amount of foreign direct investment in IT sector in Bangladesh? Do you see any possibilities or any infrastructural support here?
Yeah, well, I think as I mentioned, I don't think we currently have any plans, apart from setting up our current rep office right now, but I see tremendous opportunities. I know the government has plans to set up a IT city, right? I think that's very interesting, and I'm sure many, multinational companies, right, will be interested in that. Yeah.
What are the scenario in other South Asian countries with whom you were working for? You have already associated with the ASEAN, some countries from ASEAN region, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. What are the status in terms of PC penetration or providing facilities to the common people on the IT sector?
I don't think it's too different, frankly, right? While Bangladesh PC penetration may be lower than some other, countries in the ASEAN region, but in terms of the government's plan is very similar. It's, to really, increase the IT, reach, to more people in the population. And usually one of the key areas is really through education, right? Okay. So the education sector, through schools and universities, that's usually one of the key areas as part of any government, IT plan, and I see that very common across, a lot of the countries.
But this is a common scenario most of the South Asian countries.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, so in terms of expanding the IT education, you have to generally focus on the education, mass education to the people. So, how the corporate leaders, the corporate bodies in the IT world can extend their support to the countries, developing countries like Bangladesh. We have many people. It's the most populous country, one of the most populous country in the world. Yes. So how the corporate leaders can, in the IT world, can help Bangladesh?
Yeah. I think there are many different areas, right? Especially in the education sector, there are different areas of how corporates, companies can actually work with the government, for example, to equip schools, with networking or with, computer hardware. One interesting area, actually, that, is very popular now is the netbook area, which is the, smaller sort of screen size notebooks. And that's one interesting area with the netbooks, because netbooks tend to have a lower price and it's very suitable to actually, supply to schools, in a big coverage area.
What do you think the Dell products in South Asia region? So how much affordable is that for the common people?
Well, I think we believe we are quite competitive. We have obviously a very big presence in many countries, and some countries are obviously quite price sensitive too. We have a big presence in countries like India and China too, and we definitely believe that we can bring some of what we have learned in some of these countries, and work here in Bangladesh.
You have many competitors in this field, like HP and other companies. So what is the Dell's situation? How they are going with their business? The business interest in around the world?
Sure. Well, I think if you look at, before I answer the question, I just want to sort of give you some background. I think if you look at some IT trends, right, in the world, I just want to briefly explain that. I think it's quite interesting. If you look at the last 50 years, in the IT industry, right, there's actually been about 4 to 5 big trends, in the IT industry. In the 1950s, there was the mainframe, right, the evolution of the mainframe, those big, computers, right. In the 1960s, there was the emergence of what we call mini computers.
Yes.
Right? And then in the 1980s, there was the emergence of PCs and servers. And then in the 1990s, there's the internet era, right?
Yes.
You have a lot of business going online, there's the .com. And now in 2010, we would like to call it the virtual era. So it's been a very interesting, last 50 years. And if you look at the current times now, what we call the virtual era, if you look at what are the key trends right now, a couple areas, right? Number one, you can see that the market is shifting towards more mobile devices, right? From desktops, right? In the past, it's been mostly all desktop-based. But if you look at the key trend that's happening is that a movement towards more mobile type devices, including laptops and including phones, right? So that's one big trend currently. The other big trend is really the explosion of storage, right? Because a lot more people are using computers now, and then with that you need to store information, right?
Okay.
So for example, in terms of storage, right? From 2003, the amount of storage has actually grew from about 160 exabytes of information to about 988 exabytes of information this year. So this is the IDC data, but the amount of storage has grown tremendously.
Okay. We'll more talk about the virtual era.
Yes.
But before that, we need to take a short break. Dear viewers, we are taking a short break. We'll be back right after the commercial. Stay with us. Our guest is Mr. Tian Beng. He's General Manager of South Asia from Dell. Stay with us. Dear viewers, welcome back. You're watching Frankly Speaking. Our guest is Mr. Tian Beng. Mr. Tian Beng, what kind of opportunities do you see for a company like Dell in Bangladesh, and how do they differ from other emerging geographies like Pakistan or Vietnam?
Yeah, I think the opportunities here are tremendous. As I mentioned, while the PC penetration is not as high, right? But with it brings a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities, right? If you look at Pakistan, you look at Vietnam, they're all at sort of different levels of IT maturity, right? So I think not too different in terms of the opportunities, but here, because the PC penetration is a bit lower, I think the opportunities are actually even greater here.
Okay, but you are talking about the the prospect of virtual era. We are living in a virtual era, but how we can cope with the advancement of virtual era in Bangladesh, comparing with the other nations, and how Dell can contribute on this, coping with this situation, the advancement of virtual era.
Sure. So if you look at the virtual era, one of the key sort of trends in the virtual era is really, as I mentioned, the increase of storage requirements, right? Because a lot of people now need to store their information, right?
Okay.
So with the storage era, I think Dell, we're quite well positioned. We have actually come up with a range of products that will actually meet the storage requirements. So we have different type of storage products, from virtualized storage products. So with this Dell storage products, we are confident that we are able to meet this big storage requirement.
Which country, in your view, most advanced in this region, South Asia or in ASEAN countries, in terms of IT development?
I think if you look at some of the countries that look after in the ASEAN, and in the Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh area, I think it would be obviously be be Singapore in terms of IT maturity, right? So yes, it would be would be Singapore. Yeah.
So do you think the other nations can take into account the experience of Singapore?
Yeah, very much so. I think if we take the case of Bangladesh, right? Although here the PC penetration is lower, IT maturity or the infrastructure may be less. But I think with that, there's a lot of opportunities. And the opportunity is that, frankly, countries like Bangladesh now, you have a great opportunity to actually do a leapfrog.
Yes,
right? So you don't need to actually do a lot of the, older technology, and you're able to actually jump straight to the latest technology. So I think that's a great opportunity.
Tell us the struggle. I mean, tell us the story of Singapore. How was the, they have been moving forward, and what was the status 10 years back of Singapore in terms of IT sector?
Yeah, I think the IT sector is a lot more mature now. I think the government has done obviously quite a very good job actually in doing the IT planning in a very systematic way.
Okay.
And I think one big key contributor is always going to be the infrastructure, right?
Okay.
The connectivity.
That must be provided by the state or the government.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what kind of policy support from the government like Bangladesh can extend to develop the infrastructure?
Well, from what I've seen and what I've heard and read on the on the digital Bangladesh, I think that's exactly what the government is definitely on the right track. Okay. In setting up the standards and setting up the plans. So I think in the recent Bangladesh digital Bangladesh 2021 plan, right, is definitely on the right track.
It's not a far cry. It's not a far away from right now.
No.
It's possible from
obviously so, right? And I think the plans are very well laid out, and I think the IT community definitely looks forward.
So from government side, the only thing is to extend policy support and building some infrastructure.
Yes, and I think the government has done a good job of setting the policy, setting out the plans, and again, we look forward to working with the government on this.
What is the biggest challenge you have experienced so far in Bangladesh? I mean, in terms of expanding your business or doing your business in Bangladesh?
Yeah, frankly, I don't think we have any specific, any
or obstacles,
specific challenges or obstacles. Frankly, I think the only one we probably have is that we wish we could do more faster here in Bangladesh, and I think that's why we've recently announced that we have plans to set up our representative office here and to have people based here in the country. So for us, I think that is really our immediate challenge is to how fast we can set up our presence over here.
Okay, so if you set up your representative office, how fast you will move forward on that direction?
Well, we are looking forward to move as quick as we can. We're working with the relevant government bodies to get the approvals, right? But we're definitely looking forward to move ahead as fast as we can.
Do you find any problem in getting approval here?
No, I think the process has been a very smooth process, and no, we don't really have any problems.
Okay.
There.
How do you find your visit? Your stay in Dhaka?
As I mentioned earlier on in the program, it's my first visit, but definitely not my last. It's been a very productive visit, and I've met a lot of a lot of our key customers, met up with some of the government officials. So it's been a very productive visit, and I'm very excited by the potential that I see here in Bangladesh.
And people, you find them very supportive?
Yes, people has been fantastic, right? The people has been very, very nice, and I think what I've really liked is that the level of excitement here, right? I think I came at a good time because I know the BCS Digital Expo is happening right now, so there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of excitement.
Have you been there?
I have actually, just a short visit there, but a lot of excitement and buzz around the around the IT community.
The big prospect for Bangladesh.
Tremendous prospects, lots of opportunities, and I think the government here and the country is definitely on the right path.
And we have to seize this potential and seize that opportunities.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you again
for joining us on.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, we thank you indeed for watching our program, and we invite you to watch our next episode. Until then, to take care. Bye-bye.